Hey, now, hey, here we are. May all your dreams come true. This is a little clay dish that I had made, and it's got little flowers over there. Isn't it cute? If I do say so myself. He's creating, right? So I was pulling the cards out because I needed to shuffle them, right? And these are the ones that came out on top. We've got the mermaid. We've got it's a wrap. We have missing the point, which I just drew in, and it just came to my mind that I should have a broken pencil here. The missing the point card is about people who think that getting grace from the Most High is about what they do and the ceremonies they keep versus the grace of being the child of the Most High, if that makes any sense. So it's not what you're doing and it's not what you're holding on to, but it's actually just who you are. Where is your connection with the Most High? Are you on a personal relationship with the Most High? Or are you just working through the motions? And are you just doing the ceremonies? And are you just doing good works in the name of? There's a time when people will come to his, to the feet of, or they will be fronted with. Sorry about that. And these people will say, I followed all your commandments, or, I did these great things in your name. And God will say, I never knew you. We weren't like that. It's kind of like people going to someone, let's just say someone's a really great worker at their job, and they're a great worker at their job. They hold to the ceremonies of that job, whatever they may be, mind you. And now this person's in trouble, so they're going to go direct to the CEO of the company and say, hey, I need your help. And the CEO is going to say, we never communicated. I don't know who you are. Yeah, you work for the company. And yeah, it looks like, you've been to work on time all the time. And it looks like you've, participated in the ceremonies that we have here, or the work culture that we have here. But you and I never had a conversation, and I don't know who you are. So that person's going to be turned away from getting the help that they need, most likely, right? It could even be about family members where, you show up to every holiday event. Perhaps you participate in the way that the family dynamics work. Maybe you don't cause a rift or a problem or whatever, but then you need help from the head of the family and you go to them for help, or it's like they are your very last deciding factor in whatever decision needs to be made, and you go to them and you say, hey, and you just assume that everything's going to be fine, but it won't be, because you never spent time with that person. Yeah, you did your part in this family dynamic, but you never even spent time. You turned your back on that person so many times. So what do you do? But in this case, it's like, what is your relationship with that person? What did you do to cultivate that relationship? It's not the fact that maybe you went to the store every weekend and did what this person said or whatnot, but you never even sat down and had a conversation. I'm repeating myself at this point. That's old news, folks. It's old news. We've got it's a wrap. Could have something to do with those parts of the world who believe in mummification or who do that. It could have something to do with somebody's mother. This little mummy guy is up and around. So apparently someone thought that they had mummified somebody and put someone Maybe they thought they laid somebody down and wrapped somebody up. Excuse me. And wrapped somebody up to the point where they weren't going to be returning again, but this person is up and about and they are returning. Ooh. Somebody could be a little bit spooked out by that. I mean, I know I would be if you thought somebody was down and here they are in your face. You're like, wow, they just returned from all that. Could have something to do with your family again, interestingly enough. Family support. And also the imperfections of human nature in itself. Tying these two cards together. Do you love me? Do you love me not? Someone could be wondering, does someone love me after all the things that I have done? What's underneath that match? Maybe someone like purposely struck a match and tried to burn someone's situation down, caused a problem, ignited something, was the start to some kind of disaster or nightmare that caused someone to have to go down. Let's give that a little bit more color here. We've got the paint can, and that would just be the details of this whole situation would just be the cherry on top of that. We've got an empty pup bowl. Someone is clearly empty. They have no resources. They don't nourish themselves. They don't nourish the relationship. They don't do anything as far as trying to give back. But on the other hand of things, this pup knows that whoever has put that dog bowl down is certainly going to help them out of a crunch, right? They're going to definitely have to fill their bowl again. They always do. So they're relying on that. We've got pup here. Pop. Soda pop. It could have something to do with someone who calls it soda pop when it's soda. Something it's like refreshing sometimes, right? But then it's like if you have too much of it, it's a detriment to your health. Allegedly. We've got our milk carton here. Milk does a body good, but not for everybody because some people are lactose intolerant, right? What's good for the goose is not good for the gander, but they thought it was. Also, you have that milk mustache, so whatever it is that you're consuming is going to leave some kind of remnants behind. You're going to see exactly what you've been into. Someone's taking a peek behind a locked door. For some reason, they're not opening this door to see the world that's on the other side of that door, and that's for a reason. Keep it locked. We don't have a key here, nor do we have a pick. So someone's been kind of excluded from the world itself. Behind a locked door. Could be a nosy neighbor as well. It could be someone who's a recluse or is keeping themselves in isolation because they just don't want to even be a part of that world. I guess that would bring us back to this you're missing the point situation. Are you of the world or are you not? We've got recycling here. Maybe someone's recycling the things that they have seen. Maybe someone is changing the way that they look at the world. And instead of seeing that they're in isolation, now they're realizing that perhaps the world is their oyster. That regardless of what it has seemed like up to this point, there's a world of opportunities out there. There is beauty in every circumstance. You just have to find the right opportunity to find that pearl, right? And then, of course, we've got the drain. Someone was probably trying to drain someone's ability to even seek opportunities, and now they're in a state of road rage. I just penciled this in. It always trips me out when people have road rage because it's like, why? I mean, surely you've been the person on the other side where, you were in someone's blind spot. Or maybe that's why you have road rage, because you were in someone's blind spot and they didn't see you, and so now you're raging on the road. Right? Scenario number one. Like you're just perfect when you drive. You never have someone in your blind spot, right? Goose and the gander. And also kind of when I have a family member who's heavy on the road rage, and it's kind of like being stuck behind a computer or these people are behind a computer and that's when they use the computer to be rageful or just rude or negative. It's like they think no one can see me, nobody knows who I am. I'm going to hide behind the computer screen, or better yet, I'm going to hide behind a screen name. And most of these people, they probably do it for the direct opposite of what they truly are in real life, or where they are at the core level of who they are. And they pick some kind of name where it's like no one would ever imagine it was me. And they're just rude and negative Nellies. So I have a family member who's a big road rager, and I really don't like driving with this person. I mean, it's been a while since I've been in the car with them to the point where there would have been a situation of rage. And it's very uncomfortable to even be around this person when they're driving. I know I just said that, but it really is. It makes me cringe when people get that upset over someone moving slow on the road. Maybe they have a reason for moving slow on the road. Maybe they're elderly. Maybe they don't feel well and they're trying to get to a hospital. Maybe they're just not a good driver. Maybe they're a new driver. I mean, there's so many reasons. If you just put yourself in somebody else's situation for just a moment, that you can realize that all the things that you're making the assumptions about this person, that maybe it's something that you can actually relate to. The other situation is when people are behind you honking at you when you're just going the speed limit, or maybe you're just below the speed limit, or maybe you didn't see the light had changed already because you're thinking about the things that, are going on in your own world. I know. Pay attention to the road. I understand. But they honk at you and they speed around you. And then it's like all of a sudden, here you are at the next light together. Hi, you were just honking at me because I didn't move fast enough. But all the while, here you are burning through that gas, revving up your engine, having to brake so hard because we're at the same light together. And at $7 a gallon of gas, folks, more power to you. Your road rage really or their road rage really has more of effect than they even realize. But maybe they just don't care to see it because, they're following the rules of the road, They're staying in the speed limit, perhaps. They want you to move when the light turns green. They want you to hurry up. But then on the other hand, the person who's in that state, they too could also be trying to get to a hospital for some whatever reason, or they too could be in an emergency, or heck, maybe that person just needs to use the restroom super badly. But do you gotta be rageful about it? Just saying. We've got a frother making something bigger than what it needs to be. Goes along with what we were just saying about that. And we've got the witch's hat here peeking out. There is some instance of when there could be some kind of magic involved in it. And I'm sorry to have to bring up magic into almost every single story. But the fact is magic is real and people do it. And I didn't learn that until I worked at my last company. When everybody said it was something that they believed in, it was something that they, oh yeah, I know it's real. And they just seem so totally on board with it. And then I saw, as I said before, I've seen evidence of that kind of thing being done at that location. So if I speak about it, I must still be a little bit traumatized by it. Just saying, and I said before, it took me a long time, probably about 1.5 years, before I could even see the commercials for the place. Allegedly, folks, because I haven't seen them do these things on their, I have not seen them doing a ritual or whatever it is, a get together or what, a demonstration. I haven't seen them do it. I've just seen things that could have been part of it. We've got ghosts and ghouls. Like, I'm thoroughly convinced that I had to bring my mother's ashes into my job because I had just gotten them. And so I didn't want them in the car in the heat. So I brought them into work and I put them above the locker in our break room, and I let my assistant manager know, the one that was doing the talking to the crows, the crow that came into our building. It was just so weird and so random. Anywho, she was very much interested in my mother's ashes, and when my brother was putting them into a tree, it looked more like sand or more like very small gravel. It didn't look like ash, is what I'm trying to say. So that was bothersome. Granted, I've never seen anybody's ashes before, but I only assume that when I see people who have put them out on videos, when they sprinkle them out into the ocean or whatnot, there's that plume of, that comes out, and there was no plume of anything that was coming out of these. It just looked like they were literally, it just didn't seem right. Anywho, she wanted me to send her a picture of the pot that we were going to paint the plant and the ashes in. Oh, make sure you send me a picture of that. Come on, really? Why do you care? Why do you want a picture of my mother's ashes inside the pot? That makes no sense. We have a straitjacket here, someone who's been harming themselves or on the verge of harming themselves or somebody else. Don't harm people, folks. Over a house. No one has the right to hurt another person. Regardless of the situation, regardless of the reasons why, no one has a right to harm another individual. Just like you don't have a right to harm yourself. It's illegal, right? That's why we have laws against it. You don't do it. Just my opinion. We've got the new moon coming out here. Someone could have been doing new moon rituals. I'm hoping these are shuffled well enough. We have sacral chakra energy coming out. They were doing the new moon rituals to mess with someone's sacral chakra, their energy force, their life force. It's like, wow, really? It's just distasteful. I keep seeing what was there. We have the sacral chakra, and then the number 7 came out, which is a spiritual number as well, with the snake skin behind it. So shedding the skin, doing the spiritual work, perhaps trying to gain another person's spiritual nature, wanting someone to shed their own skin of their spiritual essence, perhaps. But because I saw them, and I don't know if you've been here before, but I don't like to know what's there before we start, so I just have to put them somewhere else. On another note, if you are new to my channel, these are cards that I have made. They're all in different stages. Some just have words. Some have completely been done with the research. I was going to say investigation on it, but I meant research on what the word meaning is. And it's so interesting because a lot of these words, I have found that they have a lot more meanings to them than just the one, and that they can be kind of used differently. And it's kind of interesting that way. What am I thinking right now? Back of the deck, we've got sprout. Maybe the investigation that I misspoke is happening and it is sprouting to the surface. Something that someone thought was just buried, like that mummy card we had, is coming to the surface as well. It is showing it's having a life of its own. Did I just say that? I don't recall if I just said that or not. My apologies. I don't know why I'm thinking, I woke up today, both my phones were off. And then I turned my one phone on, and then I got to use it for maybe 3 minutes, and it was completely hot, and then it turned itself right back off. I don't know what's going on with my electronics. We've got our frame here. Laying the framework to frame, framed, or framing special moments, occasion, memories, or meanings. Could be an artist that it's dealing with, an art piece, a portrait, invokes emotion, connection, a special person, framework of a plan or project. So maybe the framework of a plan or project is now coming to the surface. We've got our banana split here. To split, to break apart, to combine potassium because of those bananas. I just heard they use potassium in the hospital. Potassium carbate. Is that something? Is that a... Hey, Google, is potassium carbate something?
Potassium carbonate, often called potash, is a white, water-soluble salt with a variety of uses. It's a common food additive used for pH regulation, such as in making Dutch processed cocoa or giving ramen noodles their distinct texture. Beyond the kitchen, it's widely used in manufacturing glass and soap, as well as in fertilizers and some cleaning products. Would you like to know more about its role in any of those specific areas?
That's really bizarre, folks. Hey, Google, if that substance is ingested, that's what? What happens if you ingest it when it's in like soap or something? I would think it would upset your stomach.
It's important to be careful, as potassium carbonate is caustic. While small amounts are sometimes used in food processing, in soap, it can be much more concentrated and irritating. If someone ingests soap containing it, it can cause burns and severe pain in the mouth, throat, and stomach. If you suspect someone has ingested a significant amount of a chemical or soap product, you should contact Poison Control at 1-800-222-1222 or seek medical help immediately. Do you have any other questions about household safety?
No, thank you. So that's interesting that I was thinking about the hospital with that. Hey, Google, does the hospital use that ingredient?
Hospitals do use potassium carbonate, though primarily for specialized tasks like maintaining the pH of certain pharmaceutical solutions or as a component in laboratory drying agents. It isn't typically used for general cleaning in the way you might use soap at home. Do you find it interesting how some of the same chemicals show up in both our medicine cabinets and industrial labs?
Yeah, and our food. Okay, let's move on. Thank you. We've got the ladybug. So you guys can interpret that how you'd like. And then we've got the camp, the ladybug's camp. So maybe they're trying to do something like this to the ladybug and her family, or to all the people who are around her. Or it could be even the family. Mind you, you guys take this with a grain of salt, okay? Just because someone says something doesn't mean that it's something that's really happening in your family or with the people around you. So don't go back to your family and assume and accuse or anything of that nature. Please don't. These are stories. These are things that are coming to mind when I see pictures. Right? Just like you can't take someone to court, or you can't have someone brought on charges on a whim. You have to have the concrete evidence. So don't make yourself look like someone in a straitjacket if you don't have the evidence to back it up. You have to keep that in mind. And also, on another note, these stories can also be something very mundane and very just small, like you went on a walk and you saw a flower beginning to bloom. Right? Or someone could have a picture of a banana split in a frame with a ladybug on top. Or someone could have a picture of a time when somebody went camping and you guys made banana splits on the trip and a ladybug flew by. Do you see how the difference can happen? Please be mindful and use your best resonation or what resonates with you in your storyline and stuff, okay? And don't just take something and run with it and say, well, so and so said, or this is what's happening, because it may not be that way. Be mindful. You've got to put your own 2 cents into everything that you see, read, or hear. Our first card is bandage. Someone could be trying to heal something. Like someone could have tripped and fallen at a campsite and now they need to use a Band-Aid. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm saying this because there was a time I did a story about snails and it was this big, granted, I'm feeling the story of what was said, but also going through my day that day, there was a scenario where this stranger came and picked up the snails out of my pathway when it was raining because he didn't want the snails to get injured. I mean, everyone has their personality traits, right? And I thought that was the most cutest, endearing thing that someone could do, to have that thought and concern over snails. Because lo and behold, I've been notorious for just walking along my path, and I really don't want to hit a snail. But even though I care about them, I accidentally have stepped on them because I'm not thinking about there's even going to be snails there. But this other person thought about it and took care of the situation, and I thought that was the sweetest thing ever. Sometimes it takes a whole group or a whole camp to make our lives go around, right? So we had a little sidebar there. I digressed. So we have this bandage here. Someone could also be trying to cover up something that was being done to this ladybug, and I'm still holding on to that potassium word that I don't even remember what it was at this point. There's a finish and a completion to this cover up. There was some kind of competition that was going on. There was some kind of race to the finish. We've got peace now. Someone's trying to come out for an olive branch. They want peace. They want to heal the situation. Or maybe there's someone who's just done trying to heal a situation. They're just over it. They're done with the race. They're just over it. And they're walking away. They're going to go home and they're going to recoup and they're just going to relax for a while. They just need a peace of mind. The number 12 adds up to a 3, which is the mind, body, and soul, which goes back to that straitjacket card that we have. It is also the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit if you go that way. Maybe someone is wanting to heal, so they're done with their past. They're done with this, with the working out, with the strenuous activity, with the coaching. They're done with pushing themselves, perhaps, and they're just maybe they're gonna turn to the Most High. Wouldn't that be something? That would be awesome. I mean, we've got a bag of balls here. This is ballsy. Someone's ballsy. Maybe I'm being ballsy to even say something like that. I don't know. But that's the way that I live my life. So it's like, if it works for me, I want to share it and have it work for other people too, just so they can find their place of peace. We've got the ball card where it's just a bag of balls. My sister would call people a ball, B-A-G. That was the road rager when she was trying to insinuate that someone was just a real jerk and they just had no class, really. Even though a ball, BAG, is kind of important to the regeneration of the population, right? And recycling the population. We had that card come out earlier. They're kind of important, even though they have such a negative name. Just saying. And then when the coach would bring this ball bag out, or the big bag of balls out on the playing field, it's like you never knew which sport you were going to get into, right? So maybe someone's done deciding how are they going to maneuver through this whole competition. They just want some peace of mind. We've got side-eyeing. ballsy behavior, vomit. Someone's trying to side eye the reason why someone is sick. Maybe someone has a sense to why someone is sick. If we're going to go back to wherever that hospital idea came from, coming back to this healing from a situation and someone framing somebody perhaps trying to split this ladybug or separate this person from their family or their group of people. It's making someone sick or someone was sick. Someone's looking into that because they're side-eyeing it. They know that there was a reason for it, but they're trying to look into it like, why did it even happen? And I mean, I could bring back the story again when I was at my job where I was mentioning how they were participating perhaps in there was the reason to believe that they were participating in these practices. As I mentioned, there was those kinds of flowers that were in the shopping cart that was nowhere to be found in the whole parking lot at all around the business, but yet there they were. They could, and the fact that I had gotten sick at my job, I hadn't been sick in years, and all of a sudden I'm drinking my water, and just moments after, I'm feeling just so bizarrely ill that I needed to excuse myself to the restroom, and I was just so hot and boiling to the point where I even had to remove my cardigan that I had on. I had to remove, the t-shirt that I had on. Thankfully, I was in a stall and I was just so ill. I had to come out and tell my boss, I need to go into I just need to go lay down. She goes, oh, no, you should just go home. I said, I can't go home. I can't even drive right now because I'm going to get sick again. So I had to go and sleep it off, so to speak, in the boss's office. And this was on a day we were supposed to have visits from corporate, mind you. So it's like, yeah, you don't want to think that things like that are happening. But when you look back on it in retrospect, you're like, I wonder if they just wanted me to look what's the word? Incapacitated? Incapacitate. I'm sorry, I can't say the word right now. But they wanted to make it look like I was just that type of person to just sleep it off in an office, like whatever. Isolating somebody. So someone's trying to look into the reason why maybe someone was sick and why someone was isolated. It's like, why would that even happen? They wanted this person to be outcasted, left out. I've got two cards coming out together with the coffee cup and the bathtub. Well, granted, you need water to make coffee. It could have something to do with somebody's coffee. It's the morning and night routine. So they wanted this person to be isolated and casted out morning and night. That was the cycle. They wanted them to wake up that way, and they wanted them to go to bed that way. Unless you take your baths in the morning. They wanted this person to act like they were caffeinated, but also act like they were relaxed. Like kind of they wanted to give this person some kind of bipolar personality, perhaps. Maybe this was this person's way of healing themselves, was enjoying their cup of coffee every morning. The rituals, how we were talking about, you're missing the point. You're going through the rituals of things. Maybe these people were going through their rituals and they're trying to correct those things, heal those things. Maybe they're sick about what it was that they saw or witnessed. Medlar open Ars. These are medieval activities, folks. Medieval rituals. I couldn't think of the word and I had just said it. The Medlar open Ars is a medieval fruit that the more rotten and disgusting it looks on the outside, the better it is on the inside. So these people were probably in competition, considering it's under the competition card. Like, how rotten and wrong can you be to an individual? What kind of rotten individual or ritual can you do to a person? Because the more rotten that you are to a person and the worse things that you do to a person or a situation, the more that you were respected and looked upon as an important person in the realm of things. because it was a competition. Deer in the headlights. Someone could have been quite surprised learning about these kinds of situations because they just lived a life of peace. They had no idea that this was all going on underground. They didn't know it was going on in the underworld. It just snuck up on them and it caught them and they were stuck and they froze once they found out. They didn't know what to do. Where do I go? What do I do? A deer in the headlights. This was a peaceful person they were doing this to, as I'm getting ringing in my ear. We've got a bag, an empty bag here. Again, with covering, we've got the bandage over here. Bags are used to cover. We used to cover our books in school as book covers. That was the best thing ever. You can use bags to wrap your gifts in. Super cute idea. I wrapped somebody's gift in an Amazon packaging that I thought was super cute because they always got Amazon packages, and I thought that would be super cute if it was like, you're getting a gift and the thing that you love most is Amazon. No, I'm not affiliated, folks. It's an empty bag. Some people conceal their alcohol in an empty bag depending on what neighborhood you're in. It's like they want to drink it out in the open, but they conceal it. We've got a final test here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, we've got someone having to face their final test. It's like we have these little ladybugs that come out. And this is a final test that is kind of undercover. Usually you don't know that this is the final test before your karma hits, but once in a while, after you've been given so many warnings, right, of so many times when you're doing these horrible things, this medieval things, or you're having to experience those medieval things, there's a test that comes, the final one, and this is it. Where are you going to go? Are you going to treat someone poorly? Then, you're going to have to go down this other road. If you're going to be kind to this individual who maybe approaches you, then you're going to go down a different road. You're going to be rewarded for that. We have a dream catcher, things happening most likely when you're sleeping and you've been protected from these things. You're being protected from being sick, perhaps, and now there's shade. Someone wants to be incognito and somebody wants to be hidden, or somebody wants to hide their eyes in their participation of these things, trying to keep someone isolated on their morning everyday rituals. We've got our Loch Ness Monster, again, clarifying maybe that bipolar situation. The Loch Ness Monster, I found out it's in Scotland, right? And so it could have something to do with that. Also, they keep record of the times that they have had reports of the Loch Ness Monster, but yet they still don't believe that it's a real thing. So they're keeping a report on things that they don't believe is actually true. Which could be what we were talking about earlier, is like you have to use your discernment. It's like if it resonates with you, okay, write it down, keep a log. Maybe you don't know if this is something that's really happening or not, but still keep note of the times when things are odd that you may need to take note of. The date and the time and what had happened. That way you have a record of it, if should you ever need it. Otherwise, you just write it down and just continue on with your day, folks. That way you have all the information and documentation that you need should you need it later going forward. And when you're documenting these things, don't tell anyone you're documenting them, and put them in different places. If you have to make copies of them, do so. We've got road, K-I-L-L. Interesting, we've got the road, K-I-L-L, and then we had the road rage. So be mindful on the road. Someone being definitely just left for DEAD. And it's coming in under the Medlar Open Ars card. I'm hoping this is finished, right? Maybe someone decided that they didn't want to be a part of this. Maybe they woke up to the fact that they were part of something that was just ridiculous. Like, really, that's what you're going to do? The Aniston haircut. Everybody wanted her haircut. Everyone wanted to be just like her. Her haircut was so cute. Everyone wanted, I want my hair just like this. Everyone was copying each other. Nobody had their own. Birds of a feather flock together, right? Maybe it was shocking to find out how many people were actually involved in this kind of way of doing things. We have a calculator. Someone's trying to add things up. We've got the squirrel who goes around and collects all of their nuts and seeds. They save them for another time. They're also quite brave. I've seen them leap from feet, from a wall to a tree, and they just knew they were going to land. They also are very antagonizing. I've seen them antagonize animals before. It's like they do the whole, they freeze and then they run, and then they freeze and then they run, kind of like teasing or playing. It seems like they're teasing or playing with the other animal. And then they sit there and stare and watch. Someone's collecting evidence on whatever these tests were. Somebody is watching people do these things, making these decisions, these calculated moves, the calculated collections of things, and they're being watched by they're doing that. Everything's being recorded. They're seeing things for the sick nature of what they are to what's happening to this individual, and somebody's going to be sent back to jail with all the evidence that's being collected. Justice and balance here. This is also my Libra card. Interestingly enough, it's coming in after the recidivism. Someone keeps doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and they keep trying to cover themselves and make it seem like it's not them. They act like they're not a part of it, but they're doing things behind the scenes. This is the same story that keeps coming out over and over and over. This is all coming to a close. It's being cut. Someone's being cut from the group, perhaps because they are going back to jail. We have a pit bull. It could be the person who just knows that their bowl is going to keep getting full or filled up by the person that has been taking care of them. The loyalty, but then I was thinking about the fact that the pit bulls get a bad rap, and they get a bad rap because of just the way that they're made or the way that they look or the stories that they've been that have been told about them. But they tend to leave out the fact the reasons why they're like that is because some pit bulls are trained to be like that. They also do have the mechanisms in their jaw where when they hold on, they just don't let go. So there could be a person in someone's life where there's just some kind of mechanism within them that they feel like they have been wronged and they grabbed a hold on it and they're just not letting go of the situation. And someone has been seeing this. Like, I know a couple people, and they do happen to be under a certain sun sign. I don't know if I probably have mentioned it before, but these people feel like they've been wronged by people that they had spent time with, and they just cannot let go of the fact that they were wronged by this person. It's like they refuse to heal and move on from the situation. And then they go and tell other people about it. And then it's like they don't even tell the whole story. They only tell part of the story. They only tell the part that, you know, they were the victim of, that they feel. One of these individuals, I'm pretty certain, and this is something that happened to me specifically. I have a feeling that this person was, while they were doing what they were doing, that they were under the influence of something. If it wasn't just the alcohol, it was under the influence of maybe a spiritual attack or entity attachment. And maybe they didn't even recognize what had happened, or maybe that's just my rose-colored glasses coming out, trying to think that this person, there's no way this person would have done something like that. But maybe in actuality, it is who they are, but I just don't know that's actually who they are, just because I'd only seen that side of that person on a couple of occasions. My mom used to say, if somebody tells you who they are, then believe it. If somebody shows you who they are, then believe it, that that's just who they are. But in all actuality, I'm wondering if things that happen in the dark can be cut or severed by the right tools, where we had the Most High coming out earlier with the peace card. Perhaps it's some kind of possession of some sort. So I guess on that note, if you know someone who's tried to get the physical healing of things, or they've tried to go through the mental healing of things, maybe they need to go for the spiritual healing of things. And a person who needs spiritual healing most likely will just take offense by what you're saying. But I guess a lot of people who are in that place where they do need healing of any of those levels, they're going to take offense to it. But all you can do is share the information and hope that they take heed to it and they go ahead and pass the test. The Midas touch. Somebody wanted something at all costs. They wished for something to be done at all costs. They didn't care about the outcome until maybe it was too late for them to realize what the outcome was going to be and what it really meant. That the true fact that when you're trying to isolate others, or if you're trying to reach for riches in any way possible, that it's just going to end up isolating you in the end. The Midas touch, he wanted everything that he touched turn to gold. He wanted everything that he did be a success. But in realizing that it's like you're harming other people in the process of doing that, then it's not a reward at all. Did they not add up anything? Did they not think ahead of time to the fact of what that would entail? They didn't know what their options were going to be. They didn't know what the outcome was going to be. They didn't know what game they were going to be playing. Their figures didn't add up. We've got an invitation only. You're cordially invited. Please RSVP. Somebody needs to know whether you're going to be there or not. It's only polite to let them know. It's a special event. Request was made. An exclusive invitation only. A deadline. Someone's under a deadline of everything that they need to gather or collect. They're under a deadline of this final test. They're under a deadline of what it is that they are investigating, or what they have a thought of or a feeling about. We've got Robin. Robin is the female name of Robert, so it could have something to do with someone with the name Rob, Robert, Robbie, Bob. It also could be someone's sidekick, like Batman and Robin. Maybe this person feels less than when they're around a certain individual. They're like, how come this other person gets all the fame and fortune, and why does this person get all the attention when I'm standing right here? Or it could be a little bird told me. So somebody's on a deadline. It could have, maybe spring is the deadline. And it's a male, so it's not Robin. It's those other names that probably were mentioned. Allegedly, folks. There's a man who's on a deadline for justice and balance. They've been hiding something. They've been hiding somebody in isolation, perhaps. Maybe they didn't want someone to be seen. We've got the flat top as the outcome. Everything is very clear. We can see right through. We can see right over. A flat top is very meticulous, right? It's even. I guess I'll put it over here because I don't think you can see that. We've got a ball and chain. Someone is slowing down with this whole production. The whole production of everything that's been happening, everything that's been displayed, everything that's been orchestrated, everything that's been covered up, it's weighing somebody down. And we've got the straitjacket. This person is no longer going to be able to harm themselves or anybody else. They're going to be put in a timeout with that whole recidivism. And look, it's like touching that. Someone's going to be sent to a place of isolation. Hopefully they're putting themselves in a place of isolation. Maybe they can reflect on all the things that they orchestrated against people or a person or themselves even. Someone could have been like kidding themselves. Or maybe they were entertaining themselves and their whole own self of entertainment has become very heavy because it wasn't as straightforward or innocent as they thought. We have wood upside down. So maybe in one case, I'm going to use a different word of would, but maybe in one case where they would in a situation, they just won't now. Or they can't, or they could. Or they couldn't. Now they wouldn't. Maybe it had something to do with the woods, but not anymore. It's been exposed. Is poom even a word? Oopsie. We've got donate here. Donate, the initial S, first, middle, last, or a nickname. Learning upside down is they're not learning. Again, with the exposed, we've got hide upside down, which means that they are not hiding anymore. They've been exposed. They're not a star. Their wishes are not being granted. They're no longer a star. They're no longer center stage. They didn't want someone else to be a star. And that's being exposed. Maybe it's an X of some sort, or first, middle, or last. Could have something to do with S and X as well. Maybe there was some kind of intimate relationship that was going on. I'm also seeing the number 6 there, since we had that at the split of the deck. Messing with someone's foundations, family. This person is less than perfect. The human imperfections. What are they donating, though? Are they donating something now that... Are they trying to donate something to make up for what they've done, perhaps? If we're going back to the missing the point card. We got ill here. Someone is sick, so they're trying to donate. And then we had this vomit here. Maybe they think someone else had made them sick. And they're thinking this person that they isolated is the one who's making them sick. Maybe someone was being made sick. They were isolated and someone was being made sick through their coffee and maybe the water in the bathtub. Or even their that water glass would have probably came out. But someone is trying to infect somebody through their coffee and their water. Maybe in their Epsom salts, if they soak in the Epsom salt bath. Or if they use essential oils or something in their bath. Maybe there's something that's been added to those things to make someone sick. We have an opportunity in this messy 14. Maybe the 14th of the month. Add it together. It's a 5. There's a change perhaps in this opportunity. It's usually the floor that they put. If they don't use the number 13, they'll skip it. And then, of course, they go to 14 because they think that the floor 13 is bad luck. So maybe it's not such a great opportunity coming. Maybe that's what they're donating to, some opportunity. They're going to try to make it seem like it's a great opportunity, and so they're going to donate their own funds. They'll say it's a donation, but it's not really. It's probably already something that's yours. Mind you, it's all coming to the surface with that sprout card. They're trying to frame someone and take them and split them away from their family as well, and the people that actually cared about them. It was so funny the other day when the banana split card came out. I had a delivery for 2 banana splits. And then now we have the cold for the ice cream that I was just talking about. Someone is cold, they're sick, they've got the chills and everything else. I guess I could put those there. I always keep trying to figure out how to organize my stuff. Once upon a time, it's not a fairy tale. This is real life. That's unfortunate. Maybe that will work. That might work. Okay, then we've got our little clippy cards. Did something just fall down? Hard to see because I didn't put that other light on. We've got an egg here with a new opportunity. We have dung showing up, which is poop. So that new opportunity might just be kind of yucky, guys. You might want to keep an eye out on that. Glee, someone is happy here. Someone's going to be happy for the new opportunity, but they're going to realize it wasn't very great after all. We have our coffee upside down. Don't drink the coffee. Maybe don't go to coffee with someone. We have sage here. Somebody needs to sage their space, or someone is acting like a sage. Maybe someone wants to give advice on something when they're going for coffee with someone, but they're saying don't drink the coffee. Falconry upside down. They used to use birds in WAR in order to deliver things to their counterparts, or to observe or see what's going on over there. I don't know how they even communicate with birds. Maybe telepathy, I don't know. We've got a wish here and then a circus underneath that. So it was somebody's wish to cause, it was the ringleader's wish. There's a ringleader. It was their wish for all this to happen. This guy. Probably this guy. Could be a friend of yours, as we were saying, who's jealous of you getting the attention, or it could be someone with the names that we mentioned. But it's a man for sure. Maybe a man or a sidekick or somebody's friend is going to invite you something about the things and the wishes that had been happening. Right? Maybe their loyalty to this individual has been cut. And now they want to come towards you and invite you to coffee in order to tell you about all these things that have been happening. The things that they've seen and observed. I don't know. That coffee's upside down. Grounds, coffee grounds. No grounds. Maybe what they're going to tell you have no grounds. There's no evidence. There's no reasoning. There's no burying the truth, hiding from the truth. I don't know. All right, well, that's it. That's all I've got. Make it a great day, you guys.